Keith Wareing did a very entertaining video during which he tried to buy BitTorrent tokens on Binance Launchpad. The product of which was that he claimed the thing was essentially a scam and an inside job. Behind me are replica Rothkos. I don't know if anyone knows Mark Rothko. He was a what do you call it? A I forget what he was. An abstract expressionist painter who was around just before the pop art movement. Pop art movement he saw as being an endangering threat to his work and his beliefs and the art world in general. He thought it was crap. Pop art and the emergence of pop art was gonna destroy everything. Certainly destroyed him psychologically, although he had a lot of other things going on. These are Rothko replicas, so they're not real Rothkos. So there's no point in trying to find where I live and stealing them. They're not great, but I did them myself. I'm pretty proud of them. The reason I'm sitting amongst abstract expressionist artwork is because what I think I just witnessed on Keith's live stream was a little piece of abstract expressionism. It was certainly expressive, and it was somewhat abstract. We'll just go through the chain of events because it was interesting. Keith, the presumption that he had to begin with was that we were witnessing a scam, that there would be no way for a normal person to go in and back this ICO. It would sell out too quickly. There's not enough tokens, not enough coins for sale, and people would have trouble getting in. So what he did was bought BNB, which was you needed Tron or Binance native coins to buy BitTorrent tokens on the launchpad. There were 7 million BTTs for sale. His prediction was that he just wouldn't get in. So the launchpad, for whatever reason, there were he faced a number of problems. The launchpad was in German for a number of reasons. He couldn't pass the CAPTCHA, which he tried over and over again. I reckon he must have done it a dozen times. He wasn't able to agree to the terms and conditions, which he attempted again a number of times. He refreshed. All the while what's going on here is BNBs are falling. I think we hear that they fell 12%. There were, in the end, he noted 320 total participants, and the sale lasted about 15 minutes, as we all know, and then they were gone. The quote that I found particularly amusing was, "You shady fucking scamming bastards." I'd have that on my tombstone if I could. You shady fucking scamming bastards. Now, I believe in justice. I believe in innocence until guilt is proven. And I also believe that a site meltdown, which we did seem to see. I mean, it was opening in German. He couldn't pass a CAPTCHA. He couldn't agree to the terms and conditions. No matter how many times he refreshed it, the things were going on. There were problems. He tried a number of times. I don't think a site meltdown is inconsistent with a sudden surge in usage of Launchpad and thousands of people trying to buy a very limited number of tokens. I don't think that those are. It's not necessarily true that there were games being played. I think it's fair to defend Binance that the reason the thing crashed was that There were too many people trying to buy the fucking things. The fact that there was such a lack of supply of them is a little bit of a concern. 7 million BTT coins in an ICO to raise $7 million only is somewhat, there's not a lot. I've also read, if I can take a look at this, that there was a number, so 28%. There are other people tweeting that there was a 28% of them had been sold before the sale, and the implication being that some of these crypto reporters are morons. There were 60 billion tokens worth, which raised $7 million. There are accusations that 28% of them were sold in advance, basically to insiders. This is what some of the accusations have been. Keith was certainly not impressed, and despite the protestations of CZ since the event, and also Justin Sun trying to arrange an airdrop for those people who tried to buy and were unsuccessful because they didn't have enough time or whatever, Keith isn't buying any of that. He tweeted, what exchange can we trust now that Binance is a scam? And said that he did predict, he did predict exactly what would happen. That he's on record just before the sale saying what he expected to happen, and everything that he expected to happen did happen. Although he was a few minutes ahead of us, he had logged in and stuff a few minutes before he started streaming, so he did have a little bit of pre-information. CZ's tweet trick is to buy small amount, especially towards the end. Good luck, guys. Is odd, I must admit. I don't necessarily understand it, but to be honest, I don't understand 95% of what comes out of Justin Sun's mouth, nor pen, and I don't think either does he. CZ's English is better, but also not perfect. I don't know why these people with all this money don't hire people who can write in languages other than Chinese, natively. Anyway, Keith has gone on to describe this as a total fuck up from start to finish. As I said last week, pump and dump, and only insiders got to invest. So, I was just wondering what you guys thought. Is this, was he being expressive, or was he being abstract, or was he being both? It's the Rothko question. One thing he did, I thought was interesting, apart from all the theatrics of all this stuff, he made a really good point. What the hell are crypto hodlers going to be doing using BitTorrent anymore? We know that BitTorrent has always had malware issues. I mean, that's how a lot of malware is delivered to PCs. Why, if you got anything to do with crypto, are you going to be using torrents anymore, right? The risks are just simply too high. I mean, we're already paranoid enough. Why are we downloading pirated Disney movies anymore? And Avril Lavigne best of greatest hits of Supertramp Christmas releases on BitTorrent, when you never know what's inside those files. So I thought that was basically that was one of the better points that he made. I'm wondering what you guys think of this analysis of Keith's analysis. I actually wonder from you, Keith, what you think of what I think about what you think. And whether you think this was just an exercise in if you actually think it was a scam, or is there any chance that you think a surge in usage caused these problems with Binance Launchpad? I agree that Binance should have been prepared for that, but surge in usage, site freezes, doesn't work, goes to German, stalling tactics. I don't think they're necessarily inconsistent. And I am a assume innocence until proven guilty sort of a guy. It'll be interesting to see anyway if they do airdrop to people like you who did try. So let me know what you think, people. My name is Paul, and I'm not having it.